What's up, guys? I hope you're doing great. My name is Coach Michael Burt, and I believe everybody needs a good coach in their life. I believe a good coach can change your whole life. I'm headed to the Greatness Factory, which is my home base, my training facility where my team works. That's about 30 minutes outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And it's a Sunday afternoon, about 12:05, and I'm headed up to Knoxville, Tennessee to do a meet and greet tonight. Trying to meet some new folks in Knoxville. And here's a lesson. We all need to be meeting new folks. We all need to be doing meet and greets. We all need to be doing events. Yesterday we did a customer appreciation event. Tonight I'm doing a meet and greet in a relaxed setting. Tomorrow I'm teaching Monster Knoxville. Then I'm going to Chattanooga. Then I'm doing an event with Matt Monero for our 25K and above members. Then on Tuesday I'm doing Monster Producer again. Then an orientation. Then I'm doing Monster at night. So, the concept is we got to feed that pipeline. We got to feed that pipeline. We got to remove any considerations we have, any internal hesitations that prohibit an external action, right? We got to remove those things, okay? Now, today what I want to talk to you about, and I got a little bit of driving time, so I thought this would be a good time to talk about it, is I'm working on a book called Digit Millionaire. I got a new book coming out called The Accountable Church. That is for church leaders, pastors. It's really for anybody who's interested in engagement, building dynamic environments that people continually come back to, because it's one of the hardest things in the world, is getting a person to recommit and recommit and recommit, whether it be their faith, whether it be to a subscription business, whether it be to a membership program. It's real hard to get people to commit daily, monthly, weekly. And then I'm working on a book called Digit Millionaire, and I've got a workshop in August that I'm doing on Digit Millionaire, and it is basically a book about transition. It's about how you first get to be worth between $1 and $10 million of net worth, and then you figure out. Then we spend some time kind of helping you figure out how you then move to be worth double-digit millionaires. And I'm going to bring in some of my friends. So it's a story of transition. It's a story of how I went from a high school basketball coach to building a multi-million-dollar coaching company, to investing in millions of dollars of real estate, to being worth $1 to $10 million bucks. I'm going from a coach that made $199.50, my first coaching job, to $2,000 to $24,000. And now our goal is to ask $25,000 every time I speak. And sometimes we get it, and sometimes we don't, right? But the fact that we're asking for it is a good thing. So the book is it's not just about how to get your revenue up, which is so critical to the equation. How to get your money up, because you can't do anything until you get your money up and you have excess cash to then reinvest in something, reinvest in the business, reinvest in real estate, reinvest in whatever you choose to reinvest it in. The business has to be successful enough to kick off a profit after you paid yourself, after you paid your employees, after you paid your taxes. Then that money can be used to reinvest into other things. But the book is about how you get your revenue up, but it's really about how you become compensated at a higher level for the talents you have. It's about finding your true gift that solves a problem for another person. It's about finding your special that the world will compensate you at a much higher level for. Then it's about packaging that special. And then it's about selling that special. Okay? That's really what the book is about. Because what made me unique that I was able to sell was I understood through my work of studying Covey from 18 to 25, Dr. Stephen Covey, I understood how to engineer a person to win through the whole person theory, the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. And that really was my first hard skill, my first primary skill. Okay, so in the book I talk about cultivating a primary skill, okay, and then building secondary skills on top of the primary. most people do not have a primary skill, a hard skill, which means that skill can be used to solve some real problems. So my first primary skill was understanding how to connect to the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit of a person through my work with Covey. And I happened to do that through the distribution channel of coaching. Okay? Then my secondary skills became selling, promotion, packaging. You layer those skills on top of your primary skill. But without a primary skill, you can't get your revenue up. You can't get your income up. If you're in a service-based business, you may create a product that gets your revenue up. I'm all for that. I'm all for creating products that you can earn high income off from. But I chose the route of going down the coaching path, of coaching people. So my first hard skill was inner engineering. Then I began to speak. Then I began to coach. Then I began to train. Then I began to create products. Then I began to sign corporate agreements. I mean, it makes me sick just talking about this because we're not even close to reaching our potential in all these areas. And when I talk about it, I see the tremendous opportunity that we have, and it frustrates me in a good way, not a bad way. But for you, if you're in this story of transition, the first question that I really talk about in this book, Single Digit Millionaire, that maybe if I get inspired, I'll pump this thing out in the next month or so. I really need to finish it because I think it's going to be a very helpful for folks. First thing I'd ask you is, what is your primary hard skill? And who would compensate you for that skill? Who would pay you? And then, as Dan Sullivan used to teach us, who would pay us the largest check for our unique abilities? 25 years old. I write my first book called Changing Lives Through Coaching. I'm 42 years old now. And at 25, I write my first book called Changing Lives Through Coaching. I don't know why I wrote it, other than people were asking me, like, what are you doing with these kids? And it's working well, and you're starting to win games, and it seems like you got a different model. And a lot of people were asking me, so I finally just said, well, why don't I write a book about it? And I wrote the book for coaches. Literally, youth coaches, young coaches, elementary coaches. Here's the funny thing. I didn't know how to market the book. Nobody bought the book. I mean, nobody bought the book at all. But I went out and did a few speaking engagements on the book. And what's funny was businessmen were in there. And they began to say, would you come speak to my company? And I remember the very first one. It was a little town called Woodbury, Tennessee, where I grew up. A little boating company. They built boats. And he said, man, I'd love for you to take this concept of coaching and bring it into my company. How much will it cost? At that time, I was making maybe $25,000, $26,000. And I said, $350, $100 an hour. Something like that. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, what? I mean, I thought I had made it. I'm like, I'm going to be making $100 an hour. Isn't that ridiculous? And I went in and I coached for a couple of hours. Man, did I enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed seeing that light switch go off. And fast forward a little bit, and I began speaking at companies. Now now I'm a coach. That's my primary skill, right? Inner engineering kids to win through the whole person theory, body, mind, heart, and spirit. Then I'm speaking. Now I got a secondary skill. I'm writing books. I'm an author. And then people began to ask me to coach. And I started speaking at some bigger companies. And people began to say, we really enjoyed it. Will you come back? Will you come back and coach our people? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, what does that look like? And a company said, we're going to pay you $12,000 a month, $144,000 for a year. And we want you to spend 1 week a month with our people. And I'm like, okay, this is good, man. I'm in. Okay, this is later on in my career. You know, I'm probably 28, 29, 30 years old at this point. Now I got 4 or 5 books out. Book is just a message. You're not going to make a significant amount of money off of a book, although it does force you to get clarity about your vision and your beliefs. But I wrote, the third book, This Ain't No Practice Life, and I I started to do more speaking, and people started asking me to coach. And then I started thinking, man, maybe I can do this for a living. So at 31 years old, I built a championship basketball program. We just come off winning the championship. And I'm like, man, let's go do something big. Let's go help people. So I started my coaching company 11 years ago. And I like to say we speak, we coach, we train, we lead. Here's a question. What are people paying us for? Well, they're paying us for strategy. They're paying us for structure. They're paying us for energy. They're paying us for confidence. They're paying us to be part of a dynamic network of people. Okay? But the real reason they're paying us is because they think we can help them increase their revenue or increase their effectiveness, which will increase their revenue. Okay? So for you, getting to this single-digit millionaire concept, what I want you thinking about is, getting to this concept of single-digit millionaire, how to get your net worth to between $1 million and $10 million. Now, a double-digit millionaire is going to laugh at a single-digit millionaire, but the average small business will never break $1 million of revenue. 96% of small businesses never break $1 million of revenue. And there's no way you can be worth $1 million if your business doesn't produce $1 million. For you to make $1 million, depending on your profit margins, you got to bring in 3 or 4 million, right? Or you got a high profit business based on sweat equity, and you bring in 2.5 million, but you keep $1 million of it. Then you reinvest into something else. I've chosen to reinvest in real estate. Short-term rentals is what I've chosen that we own and operate, and we do retreats at, because that's just part of my intentional congruence philosophy. I'm not saying I'm not going to get involved in apartment complexes or bigger deals or commercial. I'm certainly open to all of that. And I'm thinking about raising some capital myself and going and taking advantage of deals. Why wouldn't we? People's got money and we can get access to deals. Why wouldn't we just pool our money together and go buy some things? So for you, this concept of single-digit millionaire is, first we got to get our revenue up. We have to generate enough money that we have excess cash left over at the end of the month. And when you hear me say that, it means the revenue you bring in minus all your expenses, minus what you paid yourself, minus your taxes, you still got money left over. You still got profit left over. Then you got to use that money, not sit on that money, to go produce more money, which may mean hiring more people, doing more marketing, reaching more people. And I was reminded today by something I was watching that, we need to use money to connect to people. We need to use money that we make to connect to more people, because they have the money we need to go do the next thing. And that's a good way of, that's, at the end of the day, that's just one of the best ways I know how to say it. There's an office complex right there I need to buy. I need to put the greatness factor right there, I'm telling you. So, hope this has been valuable for you. I was a high school basketball coach. Then I became an entrepreneur. Really, I became a speaker. Then I became a coach. Then I became a trainer. Then somewhere along the way, I really became an entrepreneur, which is a person that takes lower level resources to higher levels of productivity. And that's where I'm at today. I'm trying to get this single digits to double digits. So at the end of this book, I ask double digit millionaires, people that are worth $10+ million, I ask them how they did it, right? Like, how did you do it? How did you get to double digits? And they're going to tell me. I know what they're going to tell me. They used the money they made. They didn't sit on it. They reinvested it in something bigger. I guarantee you that's what they're going to tell us. But we're going to ask them, right? So what's my belief? I believe everybody needs a coach in life. If you haven't looked at my coaching program, Monster Producer, it's about giving you the confidence you need, and it's about giving you the structure you need, and it's about giving you the revenue you need. It's about getting your revenue up. At the end of the day, it's a business growth program where I'm coaching you on how to get your revenue. And I'm going to teach you the same things that I have used personally. Some of them have worked, some of them have not worked. Okay? But they've worked well enough to at least get those single digits. Okay? Now, all my buddies that are double-digit millionaires, I'm not there yet. You inspire me. I appreciate you. Okay? How do we take our talent and distribute it to the world at a very high level? Okay? And for many years, I wouldn't even talk about money. Like where I live in Tennessee, people don't talk about money. It's crazy. But if you're running a business, you got to have money. You got to talk about it. You got to talk about sales. You got to talk about business. You got to talk about growth. You got to talk about revenue. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy that people are scared to death to talk about it. It's okay to talk about it, okay? So this book, it'll be interesting in my city, how people respond to it. Because it's hardest to sell people in your own city, right? They got all these pre-assumptions and bias and prejudgments on whether you can help them or not. They don't have that in other places. Other places, they don't have that. So it's removed. So I hope you guys have a great day. I'm pulling into the Greatness Factory. If you never come to see me at the Greatness Factory, come see me. If you're in Knoxville, Tennessee, I'll be there tomorrow morning. Coach and Monster Producer. Come live and be a part of it. If you're in Chattanooga, tomorrow afternoon, come and see it. Message me. If you're in Nashville, Tennessee, and you're interested in doing something with me, reach out to me. I'd love to participate with you, okay? Everybody needs a good coach. Happy Sunday, guys. I believe in you. Go out there, find your special, package it, and sell it. God bless you.